One, two, one, two, one, two, one, two, episode 185. What's a podcast? We are back for an abridged version, if you will. DJ Jerome Baker the third. Shout out to my guy, always available, hashtag Streetwear Eddie, and Abdul.
Streetwear Eddie's still in the European Union right now.
We don't know where he is right now. Supposedly he's making his way back next week.
He's like in Slovakia or something like that.
Yeah, he's out there with Dirk Nowitzki. You know what I mean? So
eating gyros.
Yeah, man. Good times. Shout out to everybody who listened to episode 184. It was a banger. Shout out. We've been on a solid run. 15 episodes left until our 200 episode.
Very, very special episode.
Bizarre. It's just going to be a bananas take on things. It's going to be next level. You know what I mean?
Next level.
Next level. You know what I'm saying? You got to build up the FOMO. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some in-store guests, some ill surprises.
Let's go.
But do remember youtube.com/What's a Podcast. That should be ours if Silent Tom secured the URL.
Probably not. But we should say this, that to everybody who enjoys our podcast and thinks we give such a amazing presentation of information in our own way. Listen, man, don't cost you nothing. Just tell a friend about us. You know what I'm saying? Like, comment, Apple Podcasts. Apparently that's where we need a lot of comments and we need a lot of shares and likes and shit like that. So, just go ahead and spread the word, man. Let people know. Let people know who we are.
Again, youtube.com/What's a Podcast. We're gonna have a healthier outlook on it. I believe Silent Tom made that happen. And What's a Podcast.live for our previous episodes, the back stock of greatness. We are here. It has been the most interesting week of weather here in Washington, D.C. I believe it was cold like Monday and Tuesday, and then yesterday it was like 70, and like today it's cold again. But then starting on Sunday, it's 40s and lower for the rest of the whole week.
But we should talk about Saturday. It was 80 degrees on Saturday.
80 degrees on Saturday. Yeah, the streets were insane.
Yeah, streets were popping.
I was outside.
Friday, Saturday, all of that. Everything was beautiful.
Whole weekend was shaking.
Yeah.
Whole weekend was shaking.
Yeah.
So.
We should say that this is, like you mentioned earlier, an abridged version of What's a Podcast. We're kind of late on taping this, so it's going to be a quick little snippet of delight for y'all. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be just giving y'all the art real quick, 20, 30 minutes, and then we got shit to do, man. We did not record as scheduled, and
Yeah,
I think we should just don't keep it funky. We'll just blame this on Streetwear Eddie. This is
whatever works.
Yeah, I think
whatever works.
That's the story we're gonna run with, and that's the story we're sticking with. This is
it's all good, man.
Yeah, we're here now.
DC has been real live lately.
Yeah.
It's
How was your weekend? Space. What did you get into?
Weekend was.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, wanted to say, did you vote?
Of course.
Voting was on Tuesday.
But I voted last week though.
Oh, you voted last week? Okay.
Yeah,
I voted early too. I voted on Sunday.
Yeah.
I was in and out. My shit was super quick. I literally was the only person in the gym. And just
super quick.
In there and walked in and walked out. Yeah.
Super quick. I feel like it's been a very highly contested, disappointing midterm cycle.
Yeah.
The Stacey Abrams thing broke my heart.
Same here.
The Beto, that broke my heart.
Yeah.
Even Warnock and Walker having to go to a runoff. It's just like, Georgia, what the fuck are y'all thinking?
Georgia, what the fuck are y'all doing, man?
And I got big homies in Georgia. I'm supposed to go to Atlanta in January.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm just like, man, I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Man.
Like, I don't know.
Rest in peace, Takeoff.
Rest in peace, Takeoff. Yeah. I saw somebody said something about his funeral. I believe is going to be at the State Farm Arena.
Is that the
That's
arena
like where they
in?
play basketball. That's where they play
Okay,
basketball.
all
Yeah,
right.
I think it's a pretty big deal, all things considered. You know, like Nipsey had his
Staples Center.
rest in peace at the Staples Center, and you know that I think these people have that sort of effect on the
For
culture. You know
sure.
what I
For
mean?
sure. For sure.
And but like I'm, I just wonder like, are these arenas just like places where this has to happen, or is like the like, can you get a soda at a funeral at a basketball stadium? Like, what? Like, are those things open, or is it just
They
like?
might not be open. They
That's what
might
I'm
not
trying
be
to.
open. Yeah.
I understand the impact that these men have had, but it's just like these are such great opportunities. But it's just like a
Oh, you're
basketball
saying
arena.
you're saying it now feels more like an entertainment event. People are gonna want to
Exactly.
attend.
You know what
I
I'm
see
saying?
what
Because
you're saying.
rest in peace. You know,
Yeah.
you don't want anybody else to pass. But
Yeah.
this obviously happened in L.A. with Nipsey. Now, if it happens in Atlanta with Takeoff, what happens if it happens in Chicago or if it happens in New York? Is everybody going to try to have this
Well,
viewing in a basketball? That's kind of crazy to me. Hey, with the exception of Nipsey, it's crazy to me.
yeah. Um, I think takeoff might also be exempt from something like that because of the impact the Migos has had on how just even changing the sound of hip hop from when they came out 2011, 12, 13, something like that.
Around that time, yeah.
I mean, you just think about how music changed during that time and what Migos did to affect that change. And I can see there's a whole generation of 25 and under kids that this the Migos are their Jay-Z. You know what I'm saying? This is their Nas, and I mean, I can only imagine what those fans and supporters are going through, and maybe it's Takeoff and his family and his management groups or his record labels way of his partners Quavo and Offset. Maybe this is their way of being like, yo, this is one last moment with Takeoff. The people can come spend this time with him and yeah, I don't think the concession stands are open for events like this. I don't think it was open even for Nipsey's thing.
Yeah,
I think
I
yeah,
don't know. I get
yeah.
it, but you
Are
know,
these things free? Was Nipsey's thing free? Was it first come first serve? Like until the arena filled up? I don't even know.
I
I'm not
mean,
trying to be funny. I'm asking a
the thing with Nipsey is how are you gonna tell? Like, let's say you
yeah,
gotta be like, are you gonna tell the gangbanger dudes like, yo, y'all can't
yeah.
come
You
in?
can't come
Like,
in. You didn't get a ticket.
I'm
Like
not telling them that.
yeah, I don't know how it works. I'll be honest. If you guys have any insight on how that worked or how it's gonna work for Takeoff's funeral, rest in peace to Takeoff. Prayers and condolences to his family and loved ones always. But how does this work? Maybe somebody in Atlanta can provide us some updates on that, man. But still very very sad. I still can't believe it. 28 years young and taken away just like that, man. God damn.
If you are in Atlanta, yeah, just leave a comment on this, man. Let us
Yeah,
know. It
let us
should be,
know.
you know what I mean. Other than that, man, weekend was great. DJ Friday, 1942. Saturday, I did Pay's birthday.
Who's
Um,
pay?
Pay is the guy that runs Legacy, the dispensary right there on 14th and U.
Okay.
Black dude, you know Pay. He's a bigger dude, little
Yeah,
afro.
yeah, 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 yeah. Okay.
He had a birthday party called Payday over at
Happy birthday, pay. I didn't get an invite though, but okay. Salute.
Looking Glass Lounge right there on Georgia,
Okay.
and it went up, man. It was a good time, and then Saturday was uh, daylight savings.
Yeah.
So went after my second set at Page Joint, we ran down to Capo to see Silent Tom. He was killing it, and he was just like, "You want to jump on?" I said, "Listen, why not, man?" So we rocked out. Sunday, I played Abigail. It's always good to go back to the trap, man. I love to just get in the mix, throw bangers at them for an hour. Like it was
Yeah.
just stellar. I love to get back to trap. And then this past Tuesday, I did the grand reopening VIP night, blah blah blah, of Heist. Man,
Nice.
Heist
Is
was
it still
awesome.
called Heist?
Yeah, still called Heist. Heist was
Okay.
rocking. Heist was rocking. Doors at 8. I got on at 11, and I didn't think people would stay the whole night. I thought people would just sort of like slowly wither out.
Yeah.
But it was 2:15. We were still in there playing Souls of Mischief 9-3 to Infinity, and it was me and Harry Hodder, and it was incredible. High Spots they really got it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was a super solid weekend. I picked up the Argons in person. The
Nice.
Argons
Okay.
look amazing. I also got Isabella a new Stussy fleece reversible jacket that's about to shut it down for a fifth grader. It looks crazy, but she got it. You
All
feel
right.
me?
That's what's up.
Yeah, man. It was a solid week. The whole month is about to be just really, really
The month
on
is about to
point.
fly by, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, what did I do, man? I kind of took it easy. Friday, my man Wahid was in town, and he was like, "Yo, I'm coming in." Actually, no, Thursday. He came into town on Thursday. Um, I went to this. I went to the viewing of our guy Keem's restaurant at Bronze on Thursday. It was like a Soho House
Oh,
event.
you know what? I was at the Bombay event at the same time.
Yeah, so I went there
Yeah.
with my wife, and we looked through Bronze, and then walked over to Makedo, and we were able to enjoy the menu that Bronze is going to be able to provide. They still have a few more weeks left till opening day, but listen, man, the spot looks fantastic. So, um, shout out to Soho House for putting that together. Um, my sisters Autumn and Erica and inviting us, and it was a nice little vibe in there, man. We enjoyed ourselves. But my man Wahid came into town, and he actually came to that event as well. And he was like, "Yo, there is I'm going to the Shoe City New Balance event on Friday, and it's a conversation with Sway, and they talk about the new 990 V6, which is coming out, and you want to roll with me?" I was like, wait a minute, Shoe City's doing something. I was like, you live in Boston, fam. How the fuck? Like, I don't even know about this, right? So, and not like I'm saying like I need to know, but
Right,
I just
right, right.
I just hadn't even heard nothing about it. But I was like, yeah, sure, I'll roll. So we went to that joint Friday, and man, it was all family in there. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was a small little private event they had at in downtown Silver Spring, and our guys from the museum, Greg and Mo were on the panel. Friend of the show, Tony Lewis Jr. was on the panel. Uh, our guy Hustle Simmons from Chicago was on the panel, and it was moderated by Sway. Um, so I don't know how it actually even happened, but I ended up on the panel as well, and they were talking about what the DMV has done for New Balances and how this even became a thing. And then the conversation went a little bit into who started it first, Baltimore or DC, and everybody had some great points. Shout out to my guys Tony Lewis and Greg and Mohammed, and but it was
I'm,
it
I'm
was a good time.
gonna be 100% honest. It's the
Yeah,
most pointless conversation ever at this point.
it is, because there's no way to really prove it, right?
Who cares? Like,
Yeah,
it
you're
just it
right.
just it's a tired conversation.
Well, you mean the point about who started it first?
Yes,
Yes, it is pointless. You're
it's pointless.
100% right.
Because
Um,
I think the same day you might have been there when I tagged you in that Scotty B video, right? The Scotty B video where Baltimore's talking about how they with the Nikes,
oh yeah, 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 yeah. With the Air Force One.
with the Air Force Ones.
Yeah,
Yes, it's like
yeah,
who cares? Like, yo, Baltimore clearly had a strong influence on sneakers across the board, whether it's New Balance or Nike.
yeah,
So I feel like it's just like first or not, whatever. That's just my
yeah.
opinion. But go ahead.
No, I agree. I agree. It is a pointless conversation. However, I will say this: that video that you did send, my only issue with it was I wish they had spoken a little bit more about the history. They talked about how strong of an influence the Air Force One has on Baltimore. But I think they should have just talked about a little bit about this is DTLR who put out that video. They should have talked about DTLR being so instrumental in making sure the Air Force One did not go away. They were one of the three retailers who in 1984 went to Nike and were like, fam, this shoe is doing amazing in our cities. You need to bring it back. And they, that did not happen. I think they had a beautiful moment where they could have spread some history and shown what DTLR has actually done for that silhouette. And I think they missed the important mark there.
Let's just we'll talk about that offline.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But other than that, and going back to that New Balance Baltimore DC conversation, you know, uh, there's just so much wrapped into when people say they're from DC that I think it sometimes gets lost because, you know, Tony Lewis was giving this example about how he went to Atlantic City and he was a young kid, but somebody working at like one of the fights that he went to had on New Balances, and he was like, "Yo, you from back home?" And dude was like, "Yeah, I'm from DC." And I think I see so much of that along in my travels as well, except they're not really from DC. You know what I'm saying? They could be from Montgomery County, they could be from Annandale, Virginia, they could be from Fairfax, Virginia, they could be from Prince George's County. And I think people just kind of just and I'm guilty of that as well. People ask me where I'm from. I gotta just go Baltimore. I'm really from Baltimore County. I think it's just simpler to just maybe point yourself into like a bigger part of that area, right? So if you're like, yo, I'm from Annandale, nobody's really gonna know. You
I mean,
just say I'm from DC.
I'm from Mesa, Arizona,
You
right? So
you you actually are one of the few people in speaking. You rep Phoenix, but you always say Mesa,
I'm from
Arizona.
Mesa, Arizona.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
if you're a random person, I'm gonna be like, I'm
yeah,
from
yeah.
Phoenix.
I'm from Phoenix. Yeah,
Just so you're like, oh, okay, you've never heard of Mesa. I get it.
right, right.
But I think that with like if you see somebody wearing Cortez, you might think they're from out west,
Yes, for sure.
but you're not gonna necessarily just think
Yeah,
California. You know what I'm saying? Like, so again, man, I think that the DTLR video did miss the mark just a little bit.
just a little. It was a great video. I
It
loved
was
it.
yeah, it was a great video
Yeah.
a little bit. I did see that your man from Lapstone,
Okay.
he was in DC, right? You guys were
He
in
was.
DC together.
We were in Baltimore.
Oh, you guys were in Baltimore.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah,
hanging
yeah.
out. Just catching
So
up. And stuff.
I think the area itself is just really in a good place to have him in Baltimore and all these events in DC. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like
yeah,
it's a good place, man. DC and Baltimore, excuse me, are looking real
for
good
sure.
for the future. And shout out to all of our friends, family, etc. in the 757, which as we noted last episode is my second favorite place in the world. Um, they
Yeah.
had a they had a 3 day, excuse me, they had a 3 day not a festival but like a conference, Mighty Dream, put on by Pharrell. Shout out to my guy Gabe Niles. He kind of served as like a music director. So it was 3 days of just like really about it was really about funding and entrepreneurship
Oh,
and how they
dope.
can channel money into the 757. It seems like particularly Norfolk and Virginia Beach because Pharrell wants to really revitalize the area on some next level shit. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a place down there. I've mentioned it before. Military Circle Mall.
Hmm.
Military Circle Mall was the greatest mall on the East Coast, with the exception of probably PG Plaza and Mondawmin in the early 2000s when it came to getting sneakers. You could get everything at
Wow.
Military Circle Mall the same way you can get everything at PG Plaza and
Yep.
Mondawmin, right?
Yeah.
But the area has definitely fallen off, right? So Pharrell's whole team has, and I think the mall might be for sale or the area is up for sale. His whole team has a vision that you can find out there to revitalize that entire area, and it's on
Nice.
some next level shit. And I applaud Pharrell for trying to really make his entire hometown area just bring it up to speed. You know what I'm saying? Even though he's a Miami resident, spending all that time in the 757 is just super inspiring. They've been on the map with the music. Obviously, I don't know if you saw Drum. Drum feels like he caught a stray from Drake on the new Drake and 21 Savage album, so he addressed some things. But dude, there was just like it was just good energy all around the 757. Our guy Dupe,
Yeah, shout out to
he
Duke.
yeah he spoke on his for his play your position brand and what that means for him and how he's making that work with Norfolk Street Soccer. He was on a
Yeah,
panel for that, so it's like there's good energy all the way from the 757 up to Baltimore, and it's like if you're really out here making it happen, there's opportunity for something real special to
yeah.
crack off if you step outside and get it going. So shout out to everybody that was outside this past weekend as we were. Episode 185 was a podcast. We are. Uh, Abdul was in a. Are we gonna call this a commercial, a spot, a TV spot? How do we
I was
want
on
to?
I was on my modeling shit.
He was modeling. Okay, so Abdul was modeling.
Joking.
There's an artist based in DC, and
Yeah.
that's my new terminology, people. I don't like to say the word local. I hate the word local. It's so bad.
Okay.
Artist that is based in DC.
Okay. All right. All right.
You
I
know what I'm
like
saying?
that.
It's a little more
Yeah,
respectful, right?
for sure. Yeah.
Um, by the name of Chris Pirate, and
Well-known
he's
artist.
well
Yeah.
known artist based in DC, Chris Pirate, and he fantastic work. He had a collaboration with the Wizards, and
Yes.
in that collaboration, Abdul was part of the Abdul
Campaign.
model
I guess you could
campaign.
say
Oh
campaign.
shit! He is. We're gonna call this one Brand New Thursdays. Okay, model campaign. You in DTLR conversations?
Oh, you
Okay.
modeling? Me too. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying?
Okay. All right.
Nah. Shout out to Chris Pirate, man. I think um, real good dude, and I think nobody deserved that campaign more than him. I'm sorry, that collab more than him, and actually the clothes went on sale today. Um, and so it's available at the Wizards team store right now, and I think they're eventually going to hit online. But yeah, I was excited to be part of it. He asked me to do it, and at first I was like, "Fam, yo, I've never done no shit like this. Like, are you sure?" And he was like, "Yeah, nah, I want you to be part of it." And I also don't like saying no to people, who are um you know are trying to do something, right? It's hard to say no to something like that, and just because I want them to succeed, and if they have a vision of seeing me or you or us in something, and I don't want to fuck it up. Um, so I'm sure I will. I don't know how well it went, but I was nervous and felt awkward and all that. But yeah, so the campaign dropped yesterday, um, and they had a few snippets leading up to it. But yeah, so if go cop that, man. Shout out to Chris
We
Pirate.
will we will have a link in our Instagram story to highlight this.
Yeah, let's go.
It's going to be fantastic. Um, I guess we'll have a quick midterm conversation. Again, or we talked about it, right? Slightly,
Slightly, we covered
slightly.
it a little
Yeah.
bit.
I
Yeah.
mean, listen, Georgia. I still don't know what you're doing. I just saw something on my phone. That's what made me think about it. Georgia, what are you doing? He's got to win. Arizona, come on, that's the home state. I need y'all to come through.
For real.
And Nevada, I think they have. I think Democrats have to win 2 out of the 3 to hold it or something like that. I don't know exactly,
Man.
but I just know that Democrats did a lot better than what was projected.
Expected. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I believe
That's true.
there's a first time black governor of Maryland.
Maryland. Yes.
Yeah,
Westmore.
yeah,
Shout out to Westmore,
Westmore.
man. I've known Westmore's wife for shit a long, long time. She went to
Okay,
University of Maryland, um, and so I've known her since we were kids. At this point, it feels
right,
like
right,
Shout out
right,
to
right.
her. I'm so extremely proud of them. Um, And
Hogan rerunning or no? Hogan wasn't running again, was he?
you know what? I don't want to speak wrong because we get killed on that every time we do say something that's false. I will say that Hogan might have been running, but he got destroyed in the primary. So
Oh, maybe
I
that
think
was it. Okay.
yeah.
I'm
So
not
one
sure. I just saw where he said that he called Moore to congratulate him. But I don't know if he was conceding or if he was just, you know,
Hogan was a Republican. I don't think so. He was a Democrat, right?
nah, he was a Republican.
Oh, he was. So then he probably was going up against West. Yeah. So that's probably what happened. I think he was running, and he was going up against Westmore, and got defeated. Fuck out of here.
We'll see. Somebody in the comments will let us know. Please. I think we see the power of voting. They said that the largest voting block of any race, any sex, gender, whatever, was the 18 to 29-year-old demographic. They literally voted something stupid like 84% Democrat or
Amazing.
something like that.
Amazing.
I saw the numbers from Stacey Abrams. White women are the problem. They voted like 72%.
Warnock. I'm sorry.
No.
Voted against the Republican.
Brian Kemp. They voted
Yeah.
72% for. White dudes weren't far behind, like 68. You know what I'm saying? Black women were 93 for Abrams. Black men were 84 for Abrams. And everything else was kind of in the middle. But there was more Democrat, though. So
Yeah.
Hispanics was more Democrat. Asians were more Democrat. But it's like, I just don't understand. I mean, I do. But it's just crazy that 72% of white women voted for Brian Kemp, which is not really crazy. Yeah, it's just like it's just pure racism at this point. Like,
Yeah.
You can't tell me you believe what he's about.
Yeah, for sure.
So again, man, shout out to everybody who voted. Obviously, the NBA took off the entire Tuesday to allow people that are both in the NBA who work in arenas. Like the NBA was like, "Yo, it's not our fault." Basically, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
I
Was
think
tight.
that's what needs to happen, man. I mean,
Yeah.
it's weird for one that voting is on a Tuesday on a weekday. I think you'd get a lot more votes if because not all corporations and companies and employers allow for shit like this. Like, yo, take off from work and go vote. Like, that should be a right of everybody. But it doesn't always work out like that. Like, why is it not on a Saturday?
It's supposed to be a national holiday, right?
Yeah.
I think if you make it a national holiday every like the Friday or whatever, second Friday in November, those numbers would be crazy. You know what I'm saying? What's the podcast? Episode 185. We're keeping it slim and trim. Shout out to our people's soul priorities.
Yeah.
Our guy Chasen. I don't know the rest of the crew, but Abdul does.
Zach, Josh, yeah.
Bong, there you go. And basically, they're opening in the D.C., Maryland, Virginia area where we all reside.
Pentagon City Mall,
right outside of D.C.
Yeah.
When I
Black
say-
Friday. Black
when I
Friday
say-
is open.
Oh, they're
today,
opening
man.
Black Friday. Okay, yeah, I'm actually working
Yeah.
Black Friday, so I won't be there. But it'll be a good time. Obviously, we're still in the negotiations, but the rumor that I've heard is if you walk in and show that you're listening to What's a Podcast while you're in the store, you get 15% off your first purchase.
15% off.
That's what I heard.
That's that's what I heard. Are the
So
famous
if you you got to have your AirPods in, and then when you come up to the
you got to be
register,
listening to it. You got to prove that you're listening.
Yeah, you got to prove that you're listening. Like, you can't be just like, I listened last week. No.
Got it.
And it has to be the latest episode. It has to be our to be our. I don't even know when we're gonna be able to record that episode. I'm super busy that week.
And you got to have a friend that you can call and that you can tell about the podcast. And you got to prove all of this before you get that 50%.
Shout out to Soul Priorities and Soul Priorities. Though they're tight.
We got a live podcast with those guys coming soon too, man. Look for that.
We got two live podcasts actually for the month of December. We got Soul Priorities and we got Studio Sonic. So we're looking forward to it, man. Shout out to Studio Sonic. The gear is moving. The gear is
Okay, okay,
moving.
okay, okay.
Currently stocked at Commonwealth DC, and it's a consistent. I like the numbers. The numbers are looking strong. You know what I mean? So, shout out to the team. I got a Studio Sonic shirt on right now. You feel me? Um, November 18th, or is it the 17th or the 18th?
17th or the 18th. What's happening?
Actually, early access went out yesterday or 2 days ago. I'm sorry, Tuesday on the Lost and Found Chicago ones.
Oh shit.
I did not get early access. My brother didn't get early access, but he said his man called him, sounded like he just won a championship, and was like, "Yo, I got him." That's all he said. He's like, "What do you mean you got?" He's like, "You got what?" He's like, "I got him." What do you get, bro? He's like, "I got the Jordans." He's like, "Which Jordans?" Chicago ones. You know what I'm
Wow.
saying? 40-year-old men. You know, you take a W where you can get it. You know, so. Uh, um, so I believe we have those coming out around the same time as these Monier fours. Is that correct?
Man, the Monier fours are coming out even sooner, man. They're coming out on Thursday, the 17th, which it's not looking good, man. It's not looking good.
But okay, so let's be honest though, right? As people who are in the streets consistently and have been in the streets consistently for the last, let's just say, 15 years,
Yeah.
right? There's absolutely no way that, like, I never see them on your staff outside. And a part of being successful in DC, you got to be outside when you're selling clothes. Like, I was on 8th Street last week, drove past it on a Tuesday afternoon. It was so dead out there. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like, you got to be outside and have a presence for people. Yo, I'm gonna come stop by the shop. Yada yada yada. Like that happens all the time. You know what I mean? So, um,
I mean, I think part of that also has to do with. I mean, these are just kids who are working, right? It's not like when you have your own thing, you are, um, you have a stake in it, and you're even more incentivized to go out there and spread the word. I mean, you know, based on the history of Manier and some of the other inside information we do know about it, I'm not surprised, you know, and they probably do go out and they go to their own little functions and things that we might not necessarily be tracking with. So, um, and the staff in there is also super young. Like they're all early 20s, if that. So I'm sure they might have their own places they go and frequent and, um, but yeah, man, I was hoping to get those fours, but it does not look like that's gonna happen.
that's insane.
Yeah, I was hoping to get the link on or the early link, but it doesn't look like that option was provided to my man for this release. So I was like, hey man, listen, man, I appreciate everything you've done for me in the past. Thank you. It's all good.
At this point, I know there's been, I think, maybe one or two shoes. These Terror Squad Air Force Ones.
Oof,
Fat Joe is
fantastic.
holding on. He's holding on to his relevance in the sneaker game.
Yeah.
Um, I'd like to see them do something new and different. You know, like
Uh, I mean, listen, for somebody like me, those have always been such a coveted. Is that the right word? Coveted? Am I
yeah.
coveted shoe? Like a grail in a sense, right? Because it just at that time when they dropped. First of all, we should talk about the TS logo. It's not spoken about enough because it's such a fire logo. You know, the jagged lines on the writing, um, TS. It means something, right? So, um, such a coveted shoe and a grail for me. Just even buying sneakers and traveling for sneakers at that time when those was you would see them on like Nike Talk or here and there. Um, it just seemed like an almost impossible shoe to ever get. I don't even know if they even made that shoe in a size 9. I think all samples were even just made in Joe's size. which I think he's a 12 or a 13. So I personally, I'm very excited that these are coming back because I don't know what the release situation is going to look like, if I'll even have an option or to get those. So, but just the hope of wanting to get them excites me because I think it could happen. I think one or two pairs might be making it to retail, um, and then the rest will be on some friends and family stuff. Which, listen, Fat Joe, I wish you were my family. I'm gonna go ahead and say that you are part of my family. Uh, you've done a lot of good music that I've enjoyed since I was a young kid, and so yeah, you are my family. So let me know if I can be presented with a size 9 option on any of those TS forces.
I hope you get them just for your own personal interest, man. I'm just not. I don't know. They're a little too plain for me, and I understand Joe has a history in the game, but
Yeah,
it's kind of like, there's a few other people I'd like to see get priority. But you know what? Shout out to Joe. I hope
I mean,
they
yeah,
rock out.
I mean you look at you look at somebody like Khaled, who now what, 4, 5, 6 pairs of sneakers, of Jordan sneakers that are coming out, even including his friends
Terrible.
and family. But you think about like Khaled and what he means to the culture of, or the game of sneakers, because I know some people have an issue with the word culture. You look at Khaled, right? And then you think Fat Joe, who's done a million things more for the game, and is more relevant to us when it comes to sneakers, his longevity in it. And you think, why doesn't he have something, right? When you start looking at it from that angle, you're like, fuck that, Joe deserves some shit, and I'm glad they're coming out. Just because, like, listen, I'm not saying Khaled does not deserve sneakers, or does not.
You know how I feel.
Yeah,
I don't feel like he does deserve sneakers.
and I'm not saying that he's not into sneakers. I'm just simply saying, uh, his connection to the game might not be the same that Joe had, or,
His
or
connect
like a
his
Clark Kent has. You know what I'm saying?
he's purely a consumer. Khaled
Right.
doesn't. Khaled does not make. He doesn't get fresh. He can't make
Yeah.
a regular pair of Air Force Ones look
Yeah.
fresh.
Yeah.
He's got to
And
have.
yeah. 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 Now go ahead.
He's got to have the exclusives, the 7 pairs of Supreme Dunks, and yeah.
Yeah.
I just want you to
Yeah.
make a regular pair of white and green Air Force Ones look fresh.
Yeah.
He can't do that. Can Clark can do that? Absolutely. Can Fat
Absolutely.
Joe do that? Absolutely. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So to me, that's where the regular person has a better connection because they're saying, "Yo, Clark Kent really wears regular Air Force Ones that makes them fresh." Khaled just wants the hype stuff and wants to
Yeah.
scream all over social media about it.
And maybe he gets hooked up with a stylist and puts outfits to get this, and there's nothing wrong with that. But when it comes to somebody who's known for copping heavy since the beginning of time. Fat Joe's been that. Clark Kent, of course, has been that. Uh, and there's just a few more names in that entertainment industry that are worthy of that. You know what I'm saying? So when you think of that caliber of consumers and what they've done for the sneaker culture, I honestly and respectfully, we honestly and respectfully do not include Khaled in that caliber of people. Um, but
Bong.
but listen, shout out to you. That being said, the peach color Jordan 5s that he got coming, I think they had an early drop for him somewhere on Sneakers app. I didn't get them. I'm gonna try to get that pair. Um, and then I think the other colors that are gonna be friends and family only. But yeah, so that being said, shout out to Fat Joe, and I'm glad to see these are coming back.
Again, and I do think there is a culture of sneakers. I think the problem is that the bar is very low, and there's been a way to bypass it by having money.
By having money and
Because
the
the money's
influence that you have now on social media is now your currency
okay,
into the game.
okay, okay. There you go.
You
So,
know what I'm
but
saying?
I feel like the influencers, the people who are heavily influenced, they don't necessarily they don't, to them it's access. Their influence gets them access. So it's like you're not like you're paying a premium for these shoes. You know what I'm saying? Like my brother's my brother's in FaZe Clan. Like he's one of those dudes. He's very close to all the FaZe Clan guys. Kyler Murray, who plays professional football for the Arizona Cardinals, is also in FaZe Clan, right? FaZe Clan, top gaming platform, yada yada yada. But
Right.
I saw a commercial with Kyler Murray wearing the Tom Sachs, the very first ones, like
Okay.
the brown with the red.
I love those.
Love them too. Those shoes are $10,000 on StockX.
Yeah.
Now he has access because he has money, but I don't think Nike's like, hey, let's make him a fresh pair. I think he's just like, I can buy them. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
it's part of the look, but I just being an influencer is just it's whatever, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll keep it pushing.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many examples of people now just buying their way into a community or a culture, like, and that's how the game has changed, man. It's completely it's different.
The Nike Talk days of 2002, 2003, and just that whole, which set a lot of this off, right? Because I
Yeah.
mean, your twit pic and your whatever photo bucket, all
Yeah.
those pictures that you
Yeah.
would
Yeah.
upload, all those
Yeah.
pictures you would upload to Nike Talk, and the connections you would make and the people and the information,
Yeah.
that set the tone for where we are today.
For
It just
sure.
was it was an early digital version. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
at this point, we'll say, what does Abdul watch?
Oh man. Honestly, I don't have a whole lot to talk about TV this week. I was kind of just busy with a lot of other things. I didn't get to TV. We'll dial back into that segment next week when um, we do a full version of the show. I don't have anything.
I mean, I feel like I actually shout out to A Beautiful Mind. I actually did listen to the Rome Streets album. It's pretty good, man. It's Griselda. It's just a Griselda album. Big soul samples, aggressive New York City rapping.
I like that.
It's a good album. It's really good. Like I'm not mad at it at all. Like I'm mad at myself for sleeping. But it is what it is. I still, like I said, I still listen to a lot of Boldy, some Camp Low, but on the Sade kick all week. So it's a
Okay.
beautiful thing, man. So we had an abridged version. Shout out to our guy, always available, hashtag Shira Eddie.
Yes, sir. He'll be back next week, man.
And my man, Don't Charge Abdul.
Yeah, man. Listen, man. Like we said earlier, it just takes you a second to just hit like or subscribe or leave a comment on any of our podcast platforms, whether it's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, even on YouTube. The video is up on YouTube, crystal clear in 5D. You know what I'm saying? Go check that out. Yeah, leave a thumbs up and drop a comment or something like that. You know what I mean? Help us out.
Yeah,
Spread the word as well. Spread the word, please.
shout out to DPL. Was the last person to leave a comment on August 5th.
Okay,
Best DMV podcast,
here
weekly
we go.
listener, great content, and definitely relate to the podcast. If you're not subscribed to this
Here
podcast, you are
we
truly
go.
missing out.
There
You
we
know what I
go.
mean?
Listen. That's
Yeah.
the energy I'm looking for, man. And speaking of which, if you're very knowledgeable and handy on social media, listen, and you're looking for some sort of internship, we'll give you credits. We'll figure out a way to make sure you get college credits or something like that. But we do need some help in social media, whether it's cutting up clips and posting. And I think it's safe to say we're firing Streetwear Eddie from that job. He's been no good at it. So we need some help. So if you know what you're doing and uh, you know you're willing to just help us out, we give you all this content for free every week and have been doing so for the last 3.5 years. This will be a great help of us. Help us get the word out and create snippets and posts and whatever the fuck else needs to be done, man. This could be your little project and you can take us to the next level. We would appreciate it.
And real quick, we want to just say happy birthday to both Midnight Marauders and Enter the Wu Tang 36 Chambers.
Okay, yeah.
I believe they both dropped 29 years ago earlier this week.
Wow.
People still argue about the Tribe album in terms of which one's their favorite, Low End Theory or Midnight Marauders.
Which one's yours?
Low End Theory all day.
Low End Theory, same.
I still listen to it all the time. And Eminem Rogers is a great album, top 10
For
album of
sure.
all time.
For
But
sure.
Low End Theory is more me. And obviously, Enter the Wu Tang Clan was it's just a different. Enter the Wu Tang
Yes.
was different.
Different.
It's different. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
but obviously, I'm DJ Jerome Baker the third. Again, youtube.com/What's a Podcast and What's a Podcast.live. We'll catch you back with the full version next week. We're
Yeah.
out.
Oh,
Peace.
real quick before we leave, rest in peace to Tame One from Artifacts.
Oh yeah, and Hurricane G.
Oh, and Hurricane G. Damn.
They actually passed on the same day, which is crazy.
Rest in peace.
Yeah,
Prayers and
so
condolences for
yeah,
and loved ones.
crazy. All right, we're out. Peace.
Peace.